Number one, do they understand the funnel dynamics? Going into that, do they understand the right metrics to optimize for? And so there's two components of that, right? So someone could say, I could say, what's working the best for you right now? And they could say, paid search is working the best for us right now. And I would say, how are you measuring whether or not it's successful? And they say, leads. And I say, we don't even need to continue this interview any further. Right? Or I could go back and they could say paid search, and I could say, how are you measuring that? And they're like pipeline. And then you start digging in, okay, how do you define pipeline? What does that mean? And pipeline actually just means there was a meeting booked with an SDR, which again is a bad metric. And so when you dive in and you actually look at these questions, what you find is that, what I find is that 95% of marketers are optimizing for a metric that doesn't help their sales team, and they don't even know. So when you peel back the layers, you start to see that, because then they're like, oh, we're optimizing for pipeline. How do you define pipeline? Oh, it's when there's a meeting booked with an SDR. Oh, how often do those convert to revenue? I have no idea, right? And then the whole argument breaks down. If you can't connect your activities to revenue in a logical way, you're not a top 5 or a top 1% demand marketer. So that's number one. Number two is there's a huge amount of people that know what to say but don't know why they're saying it. Like I'm going to ungate all my content, or what else do people say? Use a lot of the things that I talk about here. Ungate content, do native consumption in the feed, fuck attribution, whatever people are saying. Then you start to peel back and you're like, but why are we doing it that way? Why would you do it? And they just don't understand the underlying mechanics, which ends up breaking down. So I think that would be number two. And then the last one is understanding how buyers buy, how their buyers buy. And so I'm not going to be like, tell me about the buying journey of your customer. That would be too direct of a question. When you start to be like, okay, so what's working the best for you? What channels are working? How is that happening? Things like that. And you start to see that either they're all funneling into lower funnel channels, like those are the only channels that exist, or they're using quote unquote awareness channels in the improper ways to run lead gen. Or that they just try and shove B2B buyers through a funnel. And I'll just ask them, have you ever talked to your buyers about when they want to talk to a sales rep, or how that's working for them, or what they want to do? Or all of those questions lead to lack of understanding of buyers, which is again, you can't be a 1% marketer if you don't deeply understand how your buyers want to buy. Measuring the right metrics and understanding the funnel, understanding how your buyers want to buy, and not only knowing what to do, but knowing why.